In New South Wales, as you head out from the east coast, the soil turns from grey through to black. But when it finally turns red, that's when you know you're really out west and you're in goat country. Towns such as White Cliffs, Cobar, Wilcannia and Bourke are synonymous with New South Wales goat hunting. And if you travel further west from here, you'll eventually hit the dingo fence. And there, the last of the grass turns to the spinifex, and you're pretty much in the Simpson Desert. There's no doubt that this is tough, dry country, and with the drought hitting farmers hard, the abundance of feral goats that thrive out here are now providing a valuable source of income as they're mustered in and sold to export meat markets. The goat industry is fast evolving, and a group of businessmen that are also keen hunters are about to finish a huge project that'll be a win for both the local region and export sales of Australian wild goats. Now, these guys have definitely got their finger on the pulse when it comes to goat numbers and locations of the better genetics. We're teaming up with one of their partners that's nearly as mad about goat hunting as I am. We're heading out the back of Bourke to hit the dust and start stalking for some monster billies. This trip I was joining keen hunter and businessman Mike Cleary. Mike's got a strong connection to the land out west, and particularly to Bourke, where he's a partner in an exciting new abattoir that's been specifically designed for processing goats and was now in its final stages of construction. Bourke has always been a meat town, but unfortunately 20 odd years ago the abattoir was shut down, and on our way in, Mike showed me around the old derelict building and ruins. The loss was a big blow to Bourke, especially the employment opportunities that went with it. But rest assured, with Mike's team and their new venture, there is a big future for Bourke and the trade in wild goats. After hours of driving and lots of stories of big billies, we sure were keen to get boots on the ground. On reaching the property, we met with the owner and he drew us a pretty decent mud map of the paddocks and boundaries and pointed us in the direction of some possible hangouts of a few of the older, cagey billies. We quickly threw our kit into the shearer's quarters, then got geared up and straight out for a hunt. Unfortunately, the country was the driest it's been in years, and much of it has been ravaged by drought. One good thing about goats though is they are very tough and they still thrive in these conditions. It didn't take long for us to glass a mob in the distance, so we pulled up and started off on foot. Mike's super excited to be here. It doesn't take much to get me excited about hunting big billies.
Yeah, no, there's some rippers out here. I've got a mate that owns this block. He's just about to do a big muster for the meatworks. He's seen probably 3 or 4 really big billies out here. When we were talking about it, you said that was something you really wanted to get.
Oh yeah. Now, by billies, you're not talking high 3s, you're talking 4s here.
Well, yep, no, we're probably not going to try and shoot anything that doesn't start with a 4.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome.
So anyway,
in this day and age, I see more 30-inch sambar than we do 40-inch billies.
They're as rare as anything. Like they would be, a 40-inch goat would be 1 in 100,000 now. So they're out there, but you've got to see a lot of goats before you'll probably find one that big.
And we were discussing this on the way up. What is it, do you reckon, that makes a 40-inch goat? Because they are so rare.
Yeah, it's partly genetics. So we're out in western New South Wales, far western New South Wales out here. They seem to grow big horns. Yeah. It's also the feed, and then it's age as well. So now with all with the high value of goats and they're being mustered, like what's going to happen here very shortly, people are mustering them, and the big billies don't get to the age to grow their horns properly. So
you've just got a pretty unique pocket here. Because I mentioned earlier, I've hunted, over the years, I've loved hunting goats, and in other places I've looked over hundreds and hundreds, but you never get a billy that's over 30 inches. It's just the genetics of the age isn't there.
Yep.
And then, you've got a great little pocket up here. As you said, you guys seen them.
Yep.
They're around here somewhere, and you've seen one monster that has got that you've got your name on.
Yeah, no. Him. He's seen it 3 or 4 times, and it's still here. So hopefully, in the next few days, we're going to come across him and find him. But there's a big mob over there. There's probably about 200. In a mob over there, so we're going to try and get a bit closer. Yeah, well, we're straight into it, which is exciting. There's goats around here, they're sort of semi-used to vehicles moving through with the mustering, but we're on foot now and they're feeding into the wind away from us, so we're going to go and scope out what's there. Being all about the meat, obviously the abattoir, both you and I are keen connoisseurs of wild goat meat. Yep. On the menu this afternoon is a tasty little one. So no problem at all. I think that'll be a lot easier than getting a 40-inch plus goat. So I can guarantee you a very nice young eating goat.
got eyes on the mob and then looked them over thoroughly with the glass, but they appeared to be all nannies and kids or smaller young billies. After all the talk of big billies, we were definitely chasing something a few sizes up, so decided to move on. We were also keen for a meat goat, but Mike was confident there'd be others around, so we left these ones unawares to do some more scouting. As it turned out, we didn't see much after that at all. The sun started dropping fast, but I finally caught some movement and it was worth a stalk.
That black and tan one up the front. We got a nice little group of
With the little ones?
of younger animals here, perfect for a meat goat. We're running out of time, so I've got to kind of move quickly. Might sneak up and go there.
The young billy was an ideal eater, but he was quickly moving away and didn't want to stop. He was further than I liked and on the move, but with a good opening and a good rest on the sticks, I took the shot and he was down instantly.
Done. That worked out all right.
Oh, I didn't want to say anything. Great shot.
Yeah, and we're going to stop, so it was a walking shot.
Oh, good shot.
I think we've got our dinner. Well, that worked out well. In the last of light, a nice little meat billy goat. What do you reckon, Mike? He'd be good size through the abattoir, that one?
Perfect, yeah. He'll probably be about a 12 kilo dress weight goat.
About 12 kilo dress weight, nice.
Be perfect, yeah, mate. That was a good shot, 183 metres. I ranged him. So well done.
Yeah, he was.
Right on dark.
Yeah, it was a bit further than you would have liked, but hey, you get what you're given. We were a bit arrogant passing up on all those ones earlier.
Yeah, no.
Going looking for a bigger billy and a meat goat, and we ran out of luck. But anyway, job done. We'll quarter this guy up and be ready for the pot.
One of the best things about goats is their size. Compared to a deer, the carry-out is a breeze, and we had this one ready in minutes. It sure was great to see a western sunset again, and with a prime feed in the bag, our first day on the goats was off to a flyer.
The effects of the drought have certainly opened up the country here, particularly with goats being pretty present in this area with them mustering them in. The understory's taken right out. We've been out for a quick drive this morning, and with goats being white, a lot of the animals being white, they're pretty easy to pick up in the distance here. We've got a pretty big mob actually, or three sort of smaller mobs that's sort of converged into one. So we've got the wind right, and we're going to head in and just start glassing through the numbers to see if we can find a good billy. Hopefully there's one nestled in there somewhere. Beautiful morning, nice clear start with a cool wind, pretty typical for this time of year. It's going to warm up later, so we'll get started. And Mike, he's taking the lead here, first shot, first big billy we can find. This country's so good for picking up the goats in. We can just literally see straight under the understory. These white ones are giving them away. We've got a mob of much smaller, younger goats out here to the side of us in the open stuff, but up here in the trees, there's some bigger animals. They're holding that bigger size. We can see 2 or 3 billies in there that have got a fair bit of horn. Definitely worth checking out, these ones.
A fair bit of horn turned out to be quite the understatement, and amid rumours from the musterers of a giant old white billy of near mythical status living out here somewhere, we could see this white billy had a huge spread, and he instantly became the focus of our stalk.
Yeah, well over 500 metres out, we've got a mob of goats. There's 3 billies, 3 big-bodied billies in there, 3 good-sized billies. But one of them is an absolute beast. It might be this mythical monster the musterers have been talking about up here. But it's so open, we just got to sneak trees and try and close the distance and hope they slow to a slow feed. We're still about 300 out. Getting any closer is proving tricky. And the goats are feeding, they feed so fast and steadily. And they feed at a rate which is our walking pace, but we're keeping up with them. Yeah, they might be slowing a bit now. This open country, it's tough. It's so exposed.
On closer inspection, we'd realised the billy was a genuine giant, and we'd closed the gap considerably. But with cover now almost non-existent, the goats busted us and started to spook. So for Mike, it was now or never on the billy of a lifetime.
Shot, mate. Well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah, good.
You only
Only ran about 15 metres?
No, after chasing him for about a kilometre.
Oh, no, 2 or 3 Ks, I reckon.
Yeah, probably through
We
there.
wanted him for 2.5 hours to get that.
We've got to go and have a look at this thing.
Yeah, let's go and have a look. The king is dead, the mythical Billy.
I might peek round the corner.
Oh. Holy smokes.
It's a kudu, 2 kudu horns strapped onto the side of a goat.
Look at that, that horn is buried right
Check out
deep
that.
into the ground.
That is so cool.
That is unbelievable.
So this is him.
This is the big...
That is just an absolute ginormous goat. You can't understand how big this thing is. Go and pull him out, mate. I'll let you touch him.
Okay, yeah. To think we've been following him for 4 Ks, probably. 2.5, 3 hours.
Look at the size of that.
And that's where he finishes up, dead in a pile of logs with one horn buried into the ground. Man, that is one
That is a billy.
impressive set of horns. Look at that. Look at the curls in it.
I've never seen anything remotely close to that.
No, not with that curl. I mean, he's going to be super wide as well, but just the...
And the age of that thing.
Look
You've
at the
seen a
base
lot
of-
of goats. How old do you reckon this thing would be?
I reckon he's probably in the 12 to 15 year bracket. Just looking at the horns. I mean, people talk about the rings on the horns and that, but I don't think it's as accurate as just every other body assessment. Like you can see he's gone backwards. We'll have a look at his teeth in a minute. I don't think he'll have much left
And he
there.
had this crazy habit of kneeling down and feeding. We saw it there, yeah. Like a warthog.
Like just like a warthog. He'd
He's
get down
worn
on his
out.
2 front knees.
Worn out his front pads.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's an old warrior, that's for sure.
Maybe he just used to rest his head on the ground to take the weight off this horn.
As you know, we probably had an earlier shot opportunity, but he was feeding away from us, and every time I got a bead on him, I was worried about a pass through and hitting the horn, and then...
I know, that was a ridiculously tricky shot. He showed a lot of patience. Yeah, every side shot, there was a chunk of horn in the road or a pass-through shot.
Mate, if I'd have blown one of these horns off, I'd have been more disappointed than I was last night when bloody Storm beat the Rabbitoh. So,
Go the Stormers.
mate, how good is that? That is one hell of a goat, isn't it?
So cool, mate. Well done. I'm happy just to be a part of it.
Thank you very much. No, that's awesome.
So you talked up goats with a 4. This could have a 5 in it. What do you think up close?
Yeah, I'd say he'll be very close. He'll be very close.
Close to 50-inch goat. That's crazy. Let's get you got a tape on you?
I have,
let's do it.
by chance.
Certain times call for the tape measure. This was definitely one of them. And Mike's billy stretched it out to just short of an incredible 50 inches. We also found its front feet almost completely cracked, perished and full of burrs, which explained its kneeling feeding habit. The ancient billy sure was going to be virtually impossible to top, but I was still keen as ever and we stayed on the hunt.
There's quite a few mobs of goats scattered around here that we've been stalking through this dry, scrubbier kind of country and checking out, but there's been nothing big with them, you know, just mobs of nannies and kids and smaller goats, and getting a bit despondent, and then actually just picked up on, you know, what looked like a bit of horn coming through there on some trees in the distance, and then 2 monster billies are paired up down there. One real wide caramel fella, and another one we've just named the Ibex. He goes straight back. He's very cool. We're in a pretty good position to move in on these. The problem is we're just right amongst goats everywhere. There's lots of eyes and ears and pairs of nannies and kids and stuff, so it's easy to get busted. We'll take it pretty slow, peel back around. That's the biggest goat I've ever seen.
He's a beauty.
In my binoculars.
Yeah.
That's exciting. These goats are up here. Probably about 300, 400 up. Yeah, 300. We're in a pretty good position now. We just got to sneak trees, close the gap. That big caramel guy's on full alert. He's actually seen us. They can't smell us, but he'd seen us trying to make a move, trying to sneak a tree, and he's bolted. Anyway, they haven't gone too far. We've just got to stay in the trees and use what little cover we can to try and get under 300.
We snuck out to the edge of the cover, but the mob was now out in the open over 500 metres away and settled with excellent visibility all around like they knew they were safe. We just couldn't risk pushing them any further. With the boundary fence only metres away, one jump and the billies would be safely gone into the neighbours.
It's about a third roll of the dice on these billies. We just cannot get closer. So we're just trying to block up on the worst, tiniest bit of cover, which is this stump, and get within range, which will hopefully be under 250. He looks so impressive front on, but I will say I would love to be another 50 metres closer in this wind. Okay, when he turns, I'm going to fire, okay? Okay, the ibex.
Yep.
Nice.
That's a good shooting, Rob.
Oh man, this is so cool. This is a monster billy. Check out this guy. I'm pretty happy, mate.
Hey, that is huge. Well
That's
done.
20 years of hunting goats and poking around. Look at the size of this behemoth. It's probably 2 or 3 hours ago, maybe 2 hours. Yeah, probably 3. We spotted him through the trees there, and cat and mouse. But he doesn't smell. Usually these big old billies get pretty ratty and pretty stinky, but he's obviously not on at the moment. He's got a beautiful cape. That's just everything you want in a Western New South Wales billy. Now, again, the tape measure's going to have to come out, mate.
You sure?
Yes, definitely live as it is.
Okay, all right.
Will it have a 4 in it? It's eclipsed anything else you've ever done.
Well,
So.
I'll tell you what, I was more nervous than you because I said we'd try and get you something starting with a 4.
I'll hold the dumb end.
Well, definitely going to have a 4 in it.
Oh, yeah.
Are you on?
I am on.
Okay, it's 43.5 inches.
That's fantastic.
Well done, mate. Congratulations. That is an awesome, and he has got a magic cape, beautiful flaring horns. I mean, yeah, anything over 40 is a monster, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolute prehistoric beast. A one shot with the Finlight 2 in 7mm08. Again, this rifle has been amazing these last few hunts. It keeps delivering. And then, not to be overshadowed, the sable goat.
That's an absolute ripper. I mean, why pay $5,000 to go to Africa when you can get a feral goat in Australia that looks like a sable?
Bizarre to have these two paired up. That's one of the most unique goats I've ever seen. And yeah, he hung back. This was his mate. And we weren't going to let that guy go. Let's go and check him out.
Yep. Oh, look at that.
That is bizarre.
What a goat.
How's that?
Wow.
That's some serious weight.
Look at the horns on it. He's an old goat too. Look at that.
Face.
Yeah. He's a big old goat, but look at that. His tips are all worn right back. They're broomed off. But like, you know, he looked majestic when he was,
Didn't he?
just with his head back like a sable. It was unbelievable.
Well, you shot the Cobar Agali this morning, then it's the sable / ibex.
He's a pretty big bodied billy too. He's not.
Yeah,
mate.
So he's going to be pride of place on the wall in the meatworks.
He is. He's going up too with the Agali goat.
Yeah.
Goats like this are pretty rare.
Oh yeah.
You get them this shape, but not necessarily this long or this heavy.
No, not never that heavy. You see him just go.
Yep. No, he's a beauty.
He's got like nearly 30 inch of curl there.
Yeah. Oh, easy. He's a good goat, mate. He's a trophy. Like,
he's
even
a
though
very unique trophy.
He mightn't measure 43.5 inches, but I tell you what, he'd be just as rare probably.
Yeah, he's got a bit of underspread going on.
Yeah.
With the news of the big billies spreading fast, the property owner and station hands were keen to come down, check them out and help us celebrate. So with a perfect clear evening on its way, Mike and I agreed a camp oven roast of fresh goat was going to be just the thing. While Mike worked on the coals, I started preparing veggies that were put in first and simply hit with olive oil and a sprinkle of salt and pepper. The legs were also boned out to help speed up the cooking. I then rubbed the meat in olive oil and topped it with some butter, garlic and rosemary and added it to the camp oven later, as it would cook much faster than the veggies. While the roast cooked away, Mike and I caught up around the fire over a beer, and I got a great insight into the future of the Australian wild goat industry. Mike, I'm fascinated to know the story and the journey that's taken you from a keen hunter to an investor in a multi-million-dollar abattoir.
Yeah, well, I guess it was. I've always been passionate about goats. I've loved goat hunting, and I've been in the meat export industry for about 30 years. And basically, there were myself, 3 other guys that I know quite well, both through the meat industry and keen hunting friends, got together. We identified an opportunity in the goat market. There's like 70% of Australia's rangeland, like wild goats, are in the state of New South Wales, and less than 5% of them were being processed in New South Wales. So that means they're being trucked to Queensland, Victoria, South Australia. So there was an opportunity there, we felt, to reduce trucking distances. So we decided to build an abattoir in the Bourke region, just out of Bourke, right in the centre of the goat catchment area. And really, we got together, we made plans, we did budgets, feasibility studies, environmental impact statements. We decided to push the button, and here we are sort of 4 years after the planning stages. We're almost completely ready to go.
Yeah, well, I've seen it with my own eyes, and people need to understand that this isn't just a small-time operation. This is a stunningly impressive facility, and it's going to be the biggest single-use processing, plant for goats in the country. It
will be. Yeah, we'll be once we get up and running, we'll be have the capacity to process between 3,000 and 4,000 goats a day. And supply is going to be an issue. So really, we've just got it. We'll be able to take advantage of when the numbers are there to be able to process more. The thing that we're probably doing a little bit differently to most is that we've invested a lot in European technology and machinery for the skin-on process. So there are two ways to process goats. One is to leave the skin on, which is a favourite for the Chinese and the Asian trade. The other way is just your traditional skin-off market. So, and that's probably our point of difference. The skin-on, it yields better, and it's a much better return to the goat producer.
Now, as you've explained to me, this is really nothing new for Bourke, but it's been a long time since the abattoir wheels have turned in Bourke, if you like.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, Bourke had an abattoir built in 1938, and it operated continuously till the year 2000. So it's been closed for nearly 18 years now. And what's been fantastic for us, it being a meatworks town, when we came out here and started to speak to the Berkshire Council about our idea and our proposal, we were welcomed with open arms, and they've been nothing but totally supportive.
That's great.
In fact, the whole Bourke community has been right behind the project and been so positive about it. So,
and why wouldn't they? It's going to be a pretty massive employment opportunity for locals.
We'll ultimately employ up to about 150 people, plus then the flow-on effect. So there'll be a big benefit to the local economy. And we're trying to employ as many locals as we can. A lot of local businesses are excited about it too, so it's a great thing.
Well, a lot of goats are going to be going through there. Where are they all going to end up?
This plant will be predominantly export. Like as a whole, Australia exports 90% of its goats. We'll probably be doing virtually 100% of our goats for export. Probably about 75% of the goats that we'll be processing will be bound for the US. And so that it's to the different ethnic populations in the US. So we've got the Chinese, we've got the Hispanics, we've got the Muslims, we've got the Indians, the subcontinental. They're all huge goat lovers.
Yeah.
And so it's our largest market. And behind that we've got the Taiwanese market, South Korea, the Caribbean, and then a range of smaller markets. But like the demand is basically outstripping supply, and Australia is the largest exporter of goat meat in the world, so it's a great thing. It's presently about a $250 million industry, and it just seems to be, if the supply's there, it's an industry that's just going to keep growing. The value of goat has gone up significantly in the last 3 or 4 years, and basically the returns to producers have increased to a point where it's now worthwhile them spending money on infrastructure, mainly goat-proof fencing. There's also quite a lot more management of the goats going on, so they're keeping young ones, growing them out. They're also
it makes sense, doesn't it? They're so suited to this environment where sheep really struggle.
And as you know, at the moment it's so dry. We're in a prolonged drought, and you've seen the goats out here yourself. They're still in fantastic condition. Yeah. And the sheep and cattle are really struggling. In fact, most of them have been sold and gone to market. So it's absolutely perfect to grow the rangeland goats, and it's it's a natural sort of, you know, it's organic. It's a free range animal.
It all makes sense, doesn't it?
It's perfect. Yeah.
So from a business level and also a personal level, no doubt you'd like to see the domestic markets open up as well.
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, we're already done some trials with one of the large domestic sort of supermarket chains. Very encouraging so far. So yeah, we'll definitely be trying to do what we can in the domestic market. So we won't have our eye off the domestic market, but it will take a long time to grow.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you and I know the benefits of it. We know the taste.
Absolutely.
We've got it here. It's just about ready.
Yep.
It's about time to tuck in.
Well,
cheers. Good luck to your success. And congratulate you on jumping feet in, all feet in, you know, and going for it. It's such an impressive facility, and best of luck for it, mate.
Thanks, Rob. Here's to go, so.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Morocco 30 is the proud hunting clothing and equipment sponsor of Beyond the Divide, custom designed for our local conditions and uniquely Australian. Ask for it in store at your local gun shop or check out the full range at morocco30.com.au.